Hello everybody, welcome back. Here we are again. More rock. A couple small changes. Some of them might get considered to be bad, some of them might not. I guess the biggest change right now is staring you right in the face, and that's Elspeth. We're giving her a shot. She, this last weekend, actually ended up placing in top 8 using a very different list from mine. But needless to say, it was an interesting inclusion, and it's something that I haven't considered very much. There was the throne that I told you last time that was sitting here in the sideboard that's no longer there, and that's because I stuck the Elspeth in the main. I want to see how it works, and having her in the main will give me more of an idea. This weekend is SCG Kansas City, and with any luck, I will be able to go down, but I have not yet heard back about my PTO. So, that being said, let's go ahead and move through. Land base is still the same. The only card I'm actually looking at changing would be this Dryad Arbor, and I'm thinking about turning it into, what is that card's name? Treetop Village. There we go. And the reason is, this is already a pseudo come into play tapped ability, so swapping this for a non-forest, I wanted to get this over here, like it's a non-forest, even though it's got an activation cost, it's a 3/3 with trample. So that gives a little bit more push for the sword, as well as giving something that can't be terminused to the bottom as easily. Like, I don't need to activate it and swing in with everything unless I'm going for the win, and I'm just pretty sure that I can stop it from happening. So that's one thing. Let's see. But that is a change that I have not yet made. It's more of a theory change, and I'm not sure how I would do what I would think about that with only 3 accelerants. The deck really does want an accelerant, even though there are so many 2-drops. A lot of the times you just want to be able to get to your 3-drops immediately. Let's see here. I was actually thinking about swapping a Liliana for a Knight for a Liliana, so that would bring the count up to 3 here, 2 here. And that's because we do have these other creatures that kind of fit into those slots. And even though Knight is very good, we would have 4 main deck ways to be able to deal with an Emrakul, which should, well, 5, I guess, which should be enough in theory. And post-board, it doesn't really change much. So that's all theory, not doing that just yet. Maybe in the practice room here a little bit. I've only got a couple days before I get to find out whether or not I get to go. So yeah, that'll be a thing. Moving into everything else here, we've cut a swords. I'm not sure if that's going to be correct or not. I know a lot of people are diehard, must have 4 swords, must have this, must have that. Like, the way I look at this is that nothing in this list is cemented in stone. Every single thing except for basic swamp, basic plains, wherever it is right there, and basic forest are cemented. And that's because I truly believe that if you're going to play a deck in Legacy, you should be able to fight Blood Moon. And not being able to fight Blood Moon terrifies me. So, yeah, that's a thing. So that's why we're at 3 swords. There aren't very many aggro decks, so I'm not thinking that we're going to need it. I don't even have it in the board, and I don't think I will. I've been playing a little bit in the practice rooms and in the 2-man queues over the week, and ran into Maverick like 4 times. I had 3 moms on the board once in game 1 and just steamrolled them. So, yeah, it's a thing. It can happen. It's not guaranteed, but it does happen. So, yeah, we've cut down on the number of swords. We've also gone to the 3 decays and 1 pulse. So essentially there's 9 removal spells, whereas before there was the swords, the pulse, the D, the Liliana. Like in that very first list that I tried that had all of the shamans in it, the 3 shamans, there were 4 swords, 3 decays, and 2 pulses, which was already too much. Like, that was the 9 right there. You add in the 2 Lilianas, and it felt like I was dirtling, which is why I dropped back to the other one. It felt like I didn't have enough as far as win conditions went. Let's see, other changes. The Elspeth's in there. Like I said, we're giving her a shot. She may not stay, but she may stay. May swap the Liliana and the Knight eventually. Just small things. Out of the board, I guess first up and foremost is Choke is back. The decks that we're having an issue with are more of the controller decks. Excuse me. The, what's the word? The Miracles deck, the Helm deck, all of the different, like, super control decks. And ironically, we've cut a Teague, which may or may not seem like the right thing to do. But I think that the swords will force a situation where my opponent will have to sword something else. Irony, sword gets swords. Yeah, so that'll get the swords in the yard for me to be able to extract if I need to be able to extract them. But for an overall purpose, I think that the chokes will be better. Like, just being able to land one should be good enough. Although, yeah, why not? Let's cut that out. Click Teague and nope, Teague. There we go. Let's do 2 and 2 for right now. Now that I think about it, I've already signed up for the event, so this probably won't take place. 1 second, let me go redo that. Alright, we're back and signed up again. So we should have this as a board now. It's very stale. If you look through, there's a lot of 2s, but like the blue decks, if you land this on them at the right time, and usually I'm pretty good about baiting. One of those skills that you learn over time is baiting a counterspell and telling when it's a good time to actually shoot for that major card that you're in need of. So I'm hoping that 2 should be enough. I'm hoping to see them. I'm also hoping to see the Teagues, but this will give us a backup Teague in case one does get sorted. That'll give me the surgical to be able to steal the swords, land the Teague, hopefully be able to save the world. And if with any luck, I'll be able to extract and play and equip the second Teague, but that may change. Elspeth should also be pretty good against the Jund matchup, which is another reason why we've brought back Kitchen Finks. Again, kind of filling in that role that was the Stranglerootgeist role. So, but again, it's filling that same role. It's also a little bit easier to cast. I believe I had them the last time, now that I think about it. I don't quite remember, but yeah. Hopefully that should work out. Still carrying the Thoughtseizes and the whole Hymn to Turok thing, and that's simply for the combo matchup. Show and Tell decks do actually have a way to deal with that in the form of name that card. Completely spacing. The Leyline, there we go. So that's something, and with us only having the Singleton Pulse, because I'm actually relying on this Sophie to be able to deal with opposing Jaces and things like that, I'm hoping to be able to overrun them. That should create a situation where we have, well, we're kind of susceptible to it, but it should create a situation where we have the ability to fight it, but it's not going to be a very strong ability. Like, main deck we have this, and main deck these aren't even in. Neither will theirs. But post board, depending on what we're playing against, like if we're playing against Omnitel or even Show and Tell, we're going to try and bring in this as well, because then if they play it, they can cast their one spell. I can go ahead and hit it, and with any luck, I'll also be able to deal with whatever they're doing. But it'll give them just one spell, as opposed to infinite spells, in theory. It'll also make it so that Brainstorm is their only card draw, and gives us a little bit more. It does mean that we have to keep up 2 mana, and that may be difficult just because we are a mana-intensive deck. Another thing I'm looking at is actually swapping back to the old versions with Armageddon, but I've been looking at that regularly almost every other week. I don't know if that's going to be fast enough. We'll find out someday. But continuing on, that looks to be all of the changes. The daily should be starting up here in a moment. I'm going to go probably cook some eggs and be back. Alright, talk to you all later. Bye-bye.